Have you ever been hit with someone's rudeness so suddenly that it knocked the words right out of your mouth? You walk away annoyed, replaying the moment, wishing you had responded stronger, calmer, smarter. Rude people know exactly what they're doing. Their sharp comments aren't honesty. They're weapons. They talk over you, diminish you, and expect you to simply absorb it. But what if you didn't? What if you could leave them speechless? Not by shouting, not by losing control, but by staying anchored, composed, unfazed. Stoic philosophy gives you tools for that. Tools that turn disrespect into silence. Tools that turn their dominance into your advantage. This isn't about revenge. This is about presence, calm, sharp, unshakable. If you want to master the art of being untouchable, even when someone tries to provoke you, keep watching. After this rudeness will no longer catch you off guard. Number 1. I'm not the one. Try someone who tolerates nonsense. There are people who misbehave, not out of ignorance, but intention. They push to see how much you'll take. They test your boundaries just to measure your silence. I used to let it pass. I told myself keeping the peace was strength. But silence becomes self-betrayal the moment it protects disrespect. My turning point came in a meeting. Mark, the loudest guy in the room, always late, always mocking, waited for his moment. Halfway through my presentation, he smirked and said, "Are you sure you even know what you're talking about?" Everything froze. And instead of shrinking, I met his eyes and said calmly, "I'm not the one. Try someone who tolerates nonsense." The room shifted. No one laughed. Because everyone knew he had crossed the line. You just needed someone to stand firm. Rude people thrive on unchallenged space. Their bravado is built on silence, your silence. They're not strong. They're simply unchecked. You don't need to match their volume. You don't need to argue. A calm boundary is more powerful than any insult. The moment you refuse to participate in disrespect, you reclaim your dignity and expose their weakness. Number 2. I'm not offended. I just don't value your opinion. Some people believe their opinion should shape your reality. They expect their disapproval to unsettle you, to shrink you. But not every voice deserves entry into your mind. There was someone I knew, Ryan, a master of masked envy, always ready with a disguised insult. I shared a project I had poured months into. He smirked. "Not sure this is your best look." Kind of awkward. But that day, I was done letting small people shrink big efforts. I looked at him and said, "I'm not offended. I just don't value your opinion enough." Instant silence. Not every ounce of criticism is truth. Many opinions come from jealousy, insecurity, or boredom. Why should they shape how you see yourself? Stoicism teaches, your mind is sacred ground. Not every passerby should be allowed to litter on it. When you detach from their approval, you become untouchable. Number 3. That's a strange way to beg for attention. Most insults aren't born from bravery. They're born from desperation. A need to be seen. A need to feel relevant. A need to feel bigger by cutting someone else down. Their sarcasm is not confidence. Their mockery is not strength. It's a cry for attention. I was at a casual gathering when Liam, the usual spotlight seeker, took a jab. "Still chasing that little dream of yours." I didn't get defensive. I didn't explain. I simply replied, "That's a strange way to beg for attention." The act collapsed instantly, because when you expose the intention behind the insult, their power dies. People who thrive on petty remarks fear one thing: being seen clearly. Stay calm. See through them, and let their performance fall apart. Number 4. Every time you speak, it reminds me how valuable silence is. Some people talk not to communicate, but to dominate. They fill every quiet moment because silence forces them to face themselves. But the more they talk, the more you appreciate the power of saying nothing. There was a guy, Alex, always the loudest voice in the room. He'd talk over everyone, offering opinions he barely understood. One day, when he pushed too far, I simply said, "Every time you speak, it reminds me how valuable silence really is." Silence. Instant and complete. You don't need volume to reclaim the room. You need clarity. Stoic wisdom. Strength is not in constant speech, but in disciplined silence. Number 5. If you're trying to hurt my feelings, you'll need to try harder. Most insults are attempts to gain control. They want to see if they can shake you, if they can make you react. But when you give them nothing, no flinch, no tension, no crack, they lose. I've been there. Mocked, underestimated, dismissed. Years ago, those words cut deep. Now they don't even reach me. Because when someone throws a weak insult, I respond with, "If you're trying to hurt my feelings, you'll need to try harder." Not pride, just truth. Insults only hurt when they hit an insecurity. Once you outgrow those insecurities, their words become noise, nothing more. True resilience is quiet, silent, unbothered. Number 6. You're not on the level to get a reaction from me. This line doesn't fight. It dismisses. It tells them they don't qualify for your emotional attention. There was a man named Brian Sharp, tongue no substance. He threw a jab during my presentation, expecting to steal the spotlight. I didn't even blink. I simply said, "You're not on the level to get a reaction from me." Then continued my work. He became irrelevant on the spot. Some people feed on your energy. When you refuse to give it, they starve. Stoicism teaches, not everyone deserves a response. Not everyone has earned access to your emotional world. Your peace is premium. Not everyone can afford it. Number 7. That was a lot of effort just to sound insecure. This isn't an attack. It's a mirror. Rude people hate mirrors. I remember presenting a major project when Jason tried to undercut me with a smirk. "Well, you certainly make it sound impressive." I looked at him calm and steady. That was a lot of effort just to sound insecure, and the room froze. Truth doesn't need volume. It needs accuracy. Most rudeness is insecurity in disguise. Desperate, fragile, trembling beneath the surface. When you calmly name it, you take away every layer they hide behind. Let them feel the silence that follows. It teaches more than any argument ever will. Rudeness is everywhere, but so is your ability to rise above it. You don't win by shouting. You win by staying centered, by choosing clarity over chaos, by responding from strength, not emotion. If this message brought you clarity, consider subscribing. Walk this path with us quietly, steadily, and with purpose. Until next time, protect your energy, guard your peace, stay strong,